I was an airman stationed in a place most you call Area 51. No one who works here actually calls it that, we call it Dreamland or the lake. Technically, Area 51 is part of Edwards Air Force Base. If you think working here is cool, you are dead wrong, it's not. It's awful. This place is the worst place I ever been to throughout my career, and I've been on many deployments. But so far being here beats all of it put together. The lake gets super hot in the summer and cold in the winter. There is nothing to do here except going to dining facility and a small morale facility. Most of the personnel here are civilians, scientists and engineers working on something that even the commander of base doesn't know about. Most of the time I man the gate, or when it's my turn I patrol the perimeter of the base. Some people call us camo dudes. Not sure why this nickname stuck, but whatever, it doesn't bother me any. Occasionally I get to guard an entrance to an underground facility. That place is super weird and I don't even want to know what's inside of it. I'm also a member of Special Response Team for Base Security. There is another Special Response Team here, some civilian contractors, mostly former Delta and SEAL Team 6 dudes. Our team occasionally trains with them for any kind of emergency. If there is an emergency inside the underground facility, we are not allowed to respond to it, only them. We just sit back and watch them. It happened a few times while I was manning entry control point to it. I saw them rushing in with some strange-looking weapons, equipped with gas masks and wearing MOP Level 4 chemical suit. I don't ask a lot of questions. I just work here. This fateful day I was manning entry control point to the underground facility when base alarm system went off. It happened before, so I didn't think anything of it. I just radioed to Base Operations Center to see if there is a lockdown so I can grab my rifle and not let anyone in or out. The operations NCO responded to me, but his response didn't make any sense. He was saying something about Special Response Team activation and that I need to leave my post and immediately report to Security Operations Center and grab my tactical gear. Oh shit, I thought, probably another bullshit drill. I jumped in my truck and started driving back to base. It was about 15-minute drive. As I was driving I spotted a convoy of Humvees speeding towards another underground facility that I have never guarded before. I won't say its name, but I think people that are into Area 51 conspiracies would know what I'm talking about. Something serious was happening. When I reported to SOC, about 15 of us were quickly putting on our tactical gear. There was no talking. The NCO in charge of us kept telling us to hurry the fuck up and get outside if we were ready. I quickly put on my body armor and helmet and I ran out towards our motor pool. I jumped in my assigned Humvee and waited for rest of my team. They all were finally running up. We mounted the vehicles and began driving. We were met by a truck belonging to other team's liaison. I would assume they would lead us to where we need to go. Clearly they needed some help. We drove up to an underground facility and stopped right at the gate. Outside of the entrance, which was a gigantic steel door, were standing the Special Response Team wearing hazmat suits. It looked like they were scrambling. Some of them began entering the facility. Their weapons were at high ready, like there is threat right inside of the facility. The NCO in charge of our team told us to stand by as he going road talk to them to see what they need from us. From afar it looked like the guy he was talking to looked overwhelmed and distressed. He was making helpless gestures with his hand like things got out of control and he didn't know what to do about it. The NCO ran back to us and told us that we were going in. Quick rules of engagement: if it's not human, shoot it. Simple as that. We were all confused by what he was saying. What the fuck do you mean if it's not human? Anyway, we were going in to clear part of the facility. We ran to the entrance. The NCO told us to mount our night vision goggles. We entered the facility but the lights were still on. I had never actually been inside on these. It was immense inside. There were aircraft-looking things sitting there. Some of them didn't even look like we made them. We didn't really have time to look at everything in there. We quickly ran through open bay area and entered what looked like a lab of some kind. It was nothing fancy but had some simulation equipment inside. It was all clear with an exception of a scared shitless civilian worker in the corner. He was sitting there repeating some phrase that I couldn't hear. We kept moving. We entered a large hallway, and that's when we heard gunshots up ahead of us at the end of the hallway. We ducked down and tried to see what the hell was happening. We could hear loud, agonizing screams from down the hallway. We decided to push forward and assist in whatever was happening. We quickly ran down and saw 5 bodies scattered all over the place, splashes of blood and random limbs laying around everywhere. What the fuck? I thought to myself, I didn't sign for this shot, what could have done this? As we were trying to see if anybody was alive, we heard a loud scream coming from a dark area that looked like some kind of office space. We moved forward to see what it was. At first we thought it was one of the civilians that might need our help, but after we heard it the second time, we realized it was not human. We threw on our night vision goggles and moved in, trying to be as careful and vigilant as possible while maintaining some kind of organization. We entered the cubicle area and were slowly clearing the area. There were more bodies of civilians that we found randomly laying around the area. All of a sudden, the lead guy gave a hand signal for halt. What the fuck is that? His voice was breaking. He began firing at something that we couldn't see, but once he took a knee I saw it too. It was some animal-looking thing that kept hopping and jumping off the walls so quickly that I couldn't get my sight on it. I let off a few shots but didn't even come close. That thing was lightning fast. I had a stun grenade on me that I decided to throw in a general direction of where that thing was. I threw one, and right after I threw another, I got up to see if it had any effect on it, and I let off a few more shots. Immediately I heard a scream. It was so loud and piercing that it penetrated out headphones that were supposed to mute everything around us. I think I wounded it. I threw a few more Stum grenades, and this time the whole team lined up and opened up on this thing. The thing ran into a separate office. From looks of it, it was the manager's office. We moved towards it. My buddy had a frag grenade on him, the only one that had an actual combat grenade. He decided to finish it off with it. He threw a frag grenade perfectly in the doorway and ducked down. We heard a loud boom, and as we got up we opened fire, turning entire office into Swiss cheese. It got to the point where we were about to run out of ammo. I think we got it. Our NCO radioed back to someone. We are on the way, the voice on the radio responds to him. After about 15 minutes the civilian dudes arrived. They were wearing hazmat suits. They slowly approached an area where we thought we killed that thing. One of them threw an electrical shock net on something that we figured was that thing. He turned on the electrical shocker and the thing screamed out again. Oh my god, it was so fucking loud I almost lost my hearing. They, however, were completely unfazed by the scream. Behind us there was another group of them coming up. Good job guys, you can leave now, we got it, one of them said. I hope the fuck you got it, I thought to myself, I don't ever want to do this again. We left the underground facility and were told to go to the small auditorium for a debrief. As we entered we noticed that there was a lot more presence now. Medevac helicopters landing and taking off. Bunch of Humvees and MRAPs blocking the road. But they weren't service members from what I could tell. They were all wearing masks and wearing a black uniform with no unit identification for some reason. We hopped back into our Humvees and began driving back to base. We went straight into an auditorium where some bald civilian dude was already waiting for us with a stack of papers. He explained that he was with Department of Defense, and we need to sign non-disclosure agreements about what happened just now. Damn, that was fast, I thought. I wish these guys were just as fast to eliminate that fucking thing as they were with NDAs. We signed the agreement. What else were we going to do? Later that week we had an award ceremony where some general from Joint Special Operations Command awarded all of us with a high-level award. It was funny because award did not specify what we did in the citation. Even fucking awards from this place were classified. Some of us were given a 4-day pass to hit Las Vegas. I took the opportunity and jumped on a plane to Las Vegas. I spent next 4 days trying to cope with what happened that day. I still can't believe what I saw. We were all voluntold to go see a therapist after commission about 4-day pass. But what the fuck was I going to tell him? That I saw an alien or mutant and I shot it? Wow, that's a fucking headline for Las Vegas, son. Anyway, I returned to the lake and went back to my duty. Nothing was out of ordinary, the aftermath of what happened was still ongoing, but helicopter landings and takeoffs finally slowed down, and all of the black uniformed dudes seemed to be gone. No one was ever able to talk about what happened. I don't even think all of the people at Grum Lake knew about it. They probably just went about their day. I kept having dreams about what happened, and about 2 months later I began to hear voices in my head. At first they didn't make any sense, but more I was able to focus on them, more I could understand them. It was a female voice telling me to let her out and help her. It was driving me crazy as they would just randomly start pooping up in my head. I approached a base clinic about it and was immediately sent to a specialist. But it was not a doctor, I don't even think he was a medical professional. He just kept asking me if I at any point of time was able to look that thing in the eye. I told him no. It was too dark for me to even see its head. He nodded and told me that I should probably be reassigned somewhere else. I left that hellhole shortly after, maybe 3 to 4 days. I was taken back to Edwards Air Force Base where I was technically stationed. The voices in my head were finally gone, and I'm happy to say that I am finally over that horrible experience. I'm soon going to be put of Air Force. I'm going to join a police department once I get out. Don't ask me which one, whichever one that doesn't deal with fucking aliens, I guess.